People often say marriage changes people, but what they don't tell you is that people would have changed whether they got married or not. The real question isn't whether your spouse has changed. The real question is, can you love the person they've become? Hi everyone, my name is Crystal and you're welcome back to Behind Closed Door Sports. On today's story, we will be looking at a topic called The Version of You I Thought I Married. And for context, I'll share a story. Sarah met Tunde on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. She was 23. He was 25. It was funny, spontaneous, always ready for an adventure. On some Friday evenings, he would call and say, "Babe, pack a bag, we are driving somewhere." She never asked where. She simply smiled and packed. She loved that about him. He made life exciting. David loved Sarah's laughter. She laughed with her whole body. She dreamed aloud. She wanted to travel the world, start a charity, write a book. She was fearless. He often told his friends, "If I could freeze this moment forever, I would." Life was simple. Dates lasted until midnight. Weekend road trips, long conversations over coffee, dreams scribbled on napkins. They believed nothing would ever change. And then, life happened. 15 years later, Sarah stood in front of the bathroom mirror. The woman staring back at her looked familiar, but not quite the same. The sparkle in her eyes had been replaced by tiredness. Stretch marks told stories no one else could read. Her wardrobe had changed. Her priorities had changed. Even her laughter had changed. She smiled less, not because she was not happy, but life had become heavier. Children, school runs, aging parents, work, bills, responsibilities. She wasn't the carefree 23-year-old anymore. She was now 38. She carried the weight of 15 years. David had changed too. The young man who once planned spontaneous road trips now checked fuel prices before leaving the house. The dreamer had become a planner. He will not become a planner, okay? He had learned what it meant to carry a family's future on his shoulders. The pressure of mortgages, school fees, unexpected medical bills, employees depending on his business. He laughed less too, not because he wasn't grateful, but because adulthood had taught him that joy sometimes lives beside pressure. What did they say again? Adulthood na scam. One evening, Sarah looked at David across the dining table and she sighed. "You've changed." David looked back. "So have you." She frowned. "You used to be fun. You used to smile more. You never want to go anywhere. You never suggest anything anymore. You don't even surprise me anymore." David leaned back in his chair. "And you? You used to dream. You used to laugh. You used to believe in me. You don't even look at me the same way you used to." Silence in the room. Neither of them realized something important. They weren't arguing about today. They were grieving yesterday. Over the next few months, the phrase "you used to" became part of almost every disagreement they had. "You used to hold my hand. You used to compliment me. You used to call during lunch. You used to make me feel important." Every sentence compared the present to the past. Every memory became a measuring stick. Without realizing it, they were asking each other to become people who no longer existed. One Saturday afternoon, Sarah was cleaning the wardrobe when she found an old photo album. Inside were pictures from their honeymoon. David with a hair fool. Sarah wearing a bright yellow sundress. Smiles that looked effortless. Sarah laughed softly. But then David walked into the room. What are you looking at? He asked. She handed him the album. For several minutes, neither of them spoke. Finally, David smiled. I remember this day. So do I. You were crazy. You loved that I was crazy. I did. Then Sarah looked at him and quietly asked, what happened to us? David didn't answer immediately. Instead, he asked a different question. Or, what happened to them? He pointed at the photograph. The people in this picture had no children, no mortgage, no responsibilities, no sleepless nights, no aging parents. They had dreams, but they hadn't yet experienced life. Sarah looked back at the picture. For the first time, she realized she had been competing with a memory. A few weeks later, they attended a marriage retreat. During one session, the speaker asked every couple to write down 3 things they admired about their spouse. Not the spouse they married, the spouse sitting beside them. Sarah struggled. She realized most of the things she missed belonged to the past. But then she looked again and she wrote, you are dependable. You're patient with our children. You still make our family feel safe. David looked at his paper. He wrote, you're stronger than I ever realized. Aww. You've carried this family with incredible grace. You're not the girl I married. You are an even more remarkable woman. When they exchanged papers, neither could speak. There were tears. Not because they wanted the past back, but because they finally saw the beauty in the present. One of the greatest mistakes couples make is expecting someone to stay exactly as they were on the day they said I do. But people change. Careers change them. Children change them. Success changes them. Failure changes them. Even grief changes them. Age, it changes them. Even joy changes them. The goal of marriage was never to preserve time. The goal was to walk with them through every version they would become. Because love isn't proven by holding on to yesterday. It's proven by choosing today's version again and again. Thank you for listening. But before we end today's story, I would like you to think about this. When was the last time you became curious about your spouse? What they've become now? Not who they were years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Not who they were on your wedding day, but the person sitting across from you today. The person sleeping on the same bed with you. What have they learned? What are they carrying? What scares them now? What makes them smile now? But because perhaps the greatest love story isn't finding the right person at once. It's learning to fall in love with the same person over and over again as they continue to grow. And that is the end of today's story. Thank you for listening to Behind Closed Doors. Next week, we will explore another hidden struggle, the intimacy nobody talks about. Until then, don't ask, where did the person I married go? Instead, say this, who are you becoming and how can I walk that journey with you? Until next week, don't forget, this is Behind Closed Doors and I am Crystal. Bye for now.